Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Learn Your Benefits webinar. This is actually one of my favorite topics as well. 10 reasons benefits communications and navigation must never stop. We have a number of webinars out there. You'll see in Hayes Summit and on our YouTube page and on our website, our blog, which I'll point you to a little bit later in the presentation, that talks about marketing your employee benefits, the value of year-round communications, how brokers can be way more effective with communications. But sometimes with webinars and with blogs and content, it's just best to lay out, here's 10 reasons or 5 reasons, right? It's a really quick, painless way to help reinforce the value of doing these types of things more frequently, benefits communication specifically. So this is actually a 30 to 45 minute webinar. I'm going to go really, really quickly. I understand everyone on this presentation, including myself, are inundated right now this time of the year with benefits communications. We're a platform I'll talk to you about in a second. I know it's open enrollment. So number one, I absolutely appreciate you joining us. If you really enjoy this, make sure you share us with your friends and your coworkers and things like that. But again, I'm going to go fairly quickly and get into this presentation on 10 reasons benefits communications and navigation must stop. So with that, then I'm going to sort of shut off my video and continue on with the presentation. Throughout this, I'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A, so feel free to ask questions. Also, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to talk about some other ways you can just get a hold of us to ask questions, because number one, building this community of people who are trying to improve their benefits communications is super important to me and super important to our organization. So feel free, obviously, to reach out. Before we get too far, though, I want to give a couple of opening remarks on the background of Learn Your Benefits and our mission and why the heck we're here to present and not just sell Learn Your Benefits. I literally am going to spend 30 seconds talking about our product, but more talking about why you should improve and change how your benefits communications are done. And I'm even going to talk about other tools and products that are out there other than us that you can piece together that might be, a little bit different or maybe the same price or something, just based on how you want to do it, because you might even have some of these tools. So at Learn Your Benefits, we're a benefits communications platform. What separates us is really our ability to have do-it-yourself tools, so true software as a service, but we really embrace the idea of communicating year-round and reinforcing the idea of the benefits journey. Like, employees go through from awareness of their benefits to all the way from buying them, how we can drive people through that sales funnel. And the purpose of that, though, is to help employees thrive and be there during their moments of need. We want to help, more accurately, we want to help you help your employees thrive through your benefits, which is that bottom line there. And so during this presentation, we're going to talk about why we need to be doing year-round benefits communications and make sure we're navigating employees to answers. And we really believe that by doing that, you're going to help your employees thrive and be there during the moments of need. So the learning objectives and the agenda for today are, I'm going to introduce you to me a touch, introduce you to Learn Your Benefits so you realize that I'm just not talking about this for no reason. And then give you some definitions of communications versus navigation, just to level set, make sure we're all on the same page, because there's Ben admins, there's human capital management, there's all those terms out there. I want to level set on what I mean by communications and navigation. We'll get into the 10 reasons for year-round communications. We'll talk about best practices for communicating year-round and the earned and paid results of these communications. I'm sure you've done the math on your own to decide whether or not communications work, but I'm going to reinforce it a touch because I understand that point 3 there, earned and paid results communications, don't necessarily go to the bottom lines of HR service teams or HR departments or whatever. We're a cost center generally, let alone the profit centers of the line versus staff that are out there. Us doing a great job doesn't necessarily boost our own efficiency and profitability, but it improves everyone else's. But let's just talk about the earned and paid results that you can help these other teams with, and internally maybe negotiate your budgets based on this type of stuff. And then we'll talk about benchmarking communications by organization size. I'll give you less than 3 minutes on Learn Your Benefits. And then we'll adjourn and we'll talk about how you can get in touch with us if you have more thought leadership and help join the community a little bit. So it's not even going to be 3 minutes on Learn Your Benefits. It's going to be 30 seconds. And the next presentation. This presentation will probably go about another 30 minutes, give or take. I'm going to go fairly quickly because everyone is super busy. Introductions. Excuse me while I sip some water here. Learn your benefits. I'm one of the co-founders. You see the two less than handsome people on the screen here. We're both the co-founders of Learn Your Benefits. We are an investor-backed organization here out of Minneapolis and out of Virginia. Have a few hundred organizations on the platform, everyone from 18 employees all the way up to 150,000 employees. So we really are trying to service a big swath of the organization. Really, ultimately, deliver Fortune 500 level communications to any size organization. Super critical to us. I am one of the co-founders. I'm the person on the left there, Brian. I've been in technology for many, many years. In marketing, I help run an advertising agency here in the cities. I've got 15 years on the HR and the benefit side, on the employer side in organizations from $1 million to about $1 billion. And then certainly 20 years in strategy and finance. But my co-founder, Corey, he's been in a communications agency for years and is now obviously with Learn Your Benefits, but he used to service Fortune 500 level organizations. And I always wondered, well, how do you bring about communications to every organization? How can we bring high level experiences to any size organization? And well, the secret to that is to do it as a platform, do it as software as a service, do it as do it yourself. Think about QuickBooks for employee benefits communications, because that's Learn Your Benefits. Affordable, easy to understand, but yet access to lots of tools and other experiences and case studies, and build that community around Learn Your Benefits is super critical. So we're a navigation and communications platform, founded about, 5-6 years ago, again, headquartered in Minneapolis. Development is Virginia, that's where CTO is and their developers. And we're not an HRIS or ben admin system or human capital management. We're a video-focused platform to help educate and engage your employees on their benefits for ultimately happier and healthier employees. So again, help them thrive and be there during their moments of need. So as I said then, let's talk about the definitions of communications and navigation. With communications, it's very similar to the marketing idea of communications. It's using different channels and tools in combination to communicate a message to your employees. So much like in marketing, you're messaging your product. Hey, we're super cool product. Hey, we're really affordable product. Hey, we're doing this or we're doing that. That's all messaging and marketing, and you use communications to reach your audience, television commercials, online advertising, you name it. Navigation then is directing employees to their available programs, plans, options to support them in their moments of need. So navigation might be, in some people's eyes, well, let's navigate them to the ben admin system and do it. No, with Learn Your Benefits, our goal is to direct them to any platform, any website, any page as quickly and as efficiently as possible in their moments of need. When people need a phone number, a web address, a link, an app download link, whatever it is, so many employers make it impossible to get to those answers, with the exception of hopefully using Learn Your Benefits or the similar tools and techniques we have. Keeping up with our fairly quick pace, and I can certainly give us feedback if I'm going a little bit too quickly, but let's get into the 10 reasons now. This is one of our learning objectives. Year-round communications and navigation, meaning instant answers in our case with navigation, should never stop. And so they're actually grouped here. One group is year-round communications, why that should never stop. And one group is navigation, why you should always make findability of answers a top priority. And so for the first group then, it's year-round communications. Why is that super important? So the number one reason, we very regularly lead with this, and this is typically more than enough reason in our eyes, but I get there's bottom line ROI for it. Benefits are tied to overall well-being, so communications must never stop. Behind every one of your employees, as you know, is a family, it's children, it's pets, it's extended family, it's families of any shape and size. And so we have to make sure we're servicing any group or any demographic in our employees and making sure they have accessibility to your answers, accessibility to your benefits. They're aware of everything that's out there. As an example, I always use here in Minneapolis, here, our headquarters is a large of organizations. I'm on my spouse's benefit plan in a major retailer here. and I don't really even know what I have at my disposal for benefits because they're not communicating beyond just my spouse. It's internal, it's locked behind a firewall, and that's what Learn Your Benefits is trying to change, is trying to make this information more readily available to the employee outside of the workspace. Why? Because healthy employees are 75% more likely to be satisfied with their job, 51% more likely to stay, and 53% more likely to be productive. All of this is from MetLife's most recent survey in 2022, which I'm sure you all read, and I strongly encourage going to their website and doing that. The data is there to support the importance of communicating more frequently during the year. The second point, though, moving beyond just that first one, is millennials and Generation Z prefer year-round benefits communications. Specifically, these groups are 2 times more likely to leave their job if employers communicate poorly or infrequently. And this is from Aflac in 2020. So let me just pause and talk about that. It used to be a second ago, well, it felt like a second ago, that Generation Z and millennials were coming. They're coming. Everyone's panicking. They're on their way. The monsoon or the tsunami of Generation Z and millennials are coming. I'm here to tell you they're already here. I'm sure you already know this. Many of our clients are kind of shocked by it. It's potentially 60% of your organization already. 27% of your organization is Generation Z. 43 million, 35%, 56 million, 62% combined, or 99 million employees are Generation Z and millennials out there already. And it used to be with this pending tsunami of how do we communicate to this really changed audience. It used to be, oh, well, they just don't like to read and they're bored and they're really flippant. I think this approach, this label of Generation Z and millennials it's correct, but it's really more of a symptom than the actual cause. And so now let's just talk about Generation Z and millennials a touch. And this is the cause. This is the underlying condition that Generation Z and millennials have, which is indicated, thinking patient speak here, which is indicated by they don't like to read and whatever else. Generation Z and millennials are digital natives. Because of this, then they're digitally and socially overwhelmed. They're spending a significant portion of their time online on their mobile devices, up to 6 to 8 hours a day. And so imagine being inundated by a massive amount of information and disinformation in a given day on everything from TikTok to Reddit to their local news. They're overwhelmed. You can't possibly expect them to spend a significant amount of time studying a Sears Roebuck level catalog during open enrollment. No, you have to communicate to them frequently throughout the year to drive awareness, when ultimately they'll take their individualistic tendencies, which is the third point here, and apply it to themselves for their benefits. It might take them longer. It might take them a path differently than the rest of your employees who, are in my generation or other generations to do so, but they are used to doing this independently then, which is the fourth point, is you can expect to sit down and tell them, open enrollment is coming. You need to sit down and prepare for it. I'm sorry to tell you, but due to the fact that they're digital natives, they're individualistic and independent, they don't want to be there. They're not going to be there. And moreover, it's even worse. You will not get employees' attention until they give it to you, which is an MIT study published in Inc. magazine. Just like everyone else, employees are drawn to this types of information, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but you will only get their attention when they're good and ready to do it. And this is made worse now from work from home. And it's getting worse with on-demand consumption. Everyone that I know, even my elderly parents, they're conditioned to on-demand consumption. Their mobile phone, I want to see a score. Their, what are the movies that are coming out? Where's Netflix? What's on demand on cable television? Everyone is used to on demand when they need it. So it's super important to drive awareness. So when they are ready to apply that to their own personal lives individually, they're used to searching for it, which I'm going to talk about in a second, the importance of findability of your answers. And I've got some funny little quotes that hopefully I'll remember to say in a couple of minutes here. But and then when they're searching, it's super important to provide quality content at that point. It must be, digitally native content for your digitally native employees. Third reason employee communications must never stop, particularly benefits communications, is to your employees, particularly Generation Z, is open enrollment feels like cramming for a final. Hit a wrong button here. So cramming for a final, doing so, you forget 80% of what you originally learned. That's Thomas Mentel's book, Human Mind. You'll only remember 20% of quickly learned material after a 30-day period. So imagine handing your employees a Sears Roebuck catalog of benefits guide, sitting them down for an hour-long video, which will never get watched. You're sitting them down for an hour-long webinar. This is cramming for a final, and they're going to lose and not remember everything that's available to them, which is why year-round awareness is really, really important, that, again, they'll apply individually to their own lives when they're good and ready. Now, the fourth reason, again, why communications is year-round is super important, is the lifespan of social media and consumer engagement. TikTok on the left, instant decay, in the ear and out the other ear, right? Twitter, 15 to 18 minutes. LinkedIn, 24 hours. I think it's longer than that, but I think it's more like 3 or 4 days. I'll post something on LinkedIn and see likes and thumbs up after 4 or 5 days because people just aren't on it. The more people are on there, the faster content tends to decay, I think is kind of the corollary there, or correlation. So YouTube about 20 days. So, well, how do you stand out in terms of awareness when the content goes in one ear and out the other ear? Well, marketers and content creators, turn to clickbait. The 5 benefits doctors hate. Click here, right? Like, we can't do that, especially with some fiduciary obligations potentially coming around the corner here. But what we should do, though, is have quality content more frequent during the year, again, to address the instant decay that is benefits communications. This benefits communications, as you know, isn't super interesting. It's in one ear and out the other ear. So we just need to continuously drive awareness. Advertisers, having run an advertising agency, or help run anyways, for many, many years, it's tough to measure the ROI on advertising, especially if you have a sales team. You can advertise on television, in print, and online all you want, but it's the salespeople that close the deal. So you often go look back at television advertising and media and print advertisement, and you go, well, did that even work? I don't know what the results were of this. It's really about this. You look at the sales team and go, well, did they hit their sales goals? But the bottom line is advertising and marketing never would have gotten people even to the sales force in order to close those deals. So I say benefits communications is that year-round advertising that's tough to measure effectiveness, but that's so super critical to the digitally native Generation Z and millennials that spend so much time on their devices and are inundated with so much information that you must communicate more frequently during the year. Borrowing from marketing then is the whole idea of the marketing and sales funnel. If you have good products, which I guarantee you do, your benefits you've selected, that you tirelessly selected, are great benefits with great AAA rated organizations. But you need to treat the marketing and the promotion of those like a marketer would promote their products. And more frequent communications will lead to more results. So marketers go through this awareness, findability, consideration, conversion process. They're doing marketing tactics in each one of these rows: awareness, findability, consideration, conversion, year-round. And doing so makes them increase the likelihood that people are going to get down to conversion and buying and nurturing. At this point in time, I'm going to pause and strongly recommend taking a look at another one of our webinars, which is what benefits communicators can learn from marketing. And we dive into this in significant detail. So look at Hey Summit, look at the Learn Your Benefits YouTube channel, look at our blog for links to that webinar, because it really dives into what are the tactics to drive awareness, consideration, conversion, and nurturing. So, but the bottom line is, all I'm talking about here is that more frequent communications will lead to more results, which would be more people buying. Again, in this generation, no one is used to, especially disregarding generational discussions, no one is used to buying everything they need for 1 year in a 2-week period. Think about that. That's what open enrollment is. I understand the necessary evilness of it, but it's, pardon me, it's the idea that open enrollment is a 2-week period of time where we make everyone buy everything. That's almost like expecting people to order their groceries, buy everything they're going to buy for an entire year in a 2-week period of time. That's just not the way it works. And so many of your benefits can be utilized and can be purchased throughout the rest of the year. So we need to market and promote those throughout the year, aside from open enrollment, because a Sears robot catalog of a benefits guide just, really doesn't work. Moreover, the more unique your benefits are, the more consideration time people need. There's benefits that people are offering, organizations are offering, that are condition specific. Think diabetes, customizable, time bound, seasonal, especially if you live in colder areas, you're only using transportation benefits a certain time of the year. Things like this, so the more unique and the more customizable, or the more relevant they are to a condition or a specific condition of an employee, the more time it takes for people to study those. So again, you do a Sears robot catalog once a year of benefits guide. That's not enough to give people significant consideration time for that. You have to promote them regularly throughout the year. And then when ultimately the buying time comes, which they don't want and you don't want, which is open enrollment, they need to be well informed, well in advance of that. And on the right here, you can see all the benefits employers are adding from this Fortune magazine published poll in early 2022 here. Fertility benefits and paid time off and childcare assistance. I mean, think about how we are inundated with our options. How do we possibly make a selection, and how do we possibly finally get to conversion? Because employees have limited budgets as well. So we're competing not only with the noise that's out there for generations, you're competing with limited budget of your own benefits. And so again, the more you follow this sales process here with your benefits, the more you'll get people down into conversion and nurturing of those benefits. And now let's pivot to navigation for instant answers. Why should we make navigation or tools that help people get to instant answers so prevalent? Why should we make sure we're doing this? Number one in this category, or number 7 of 10, why communications and navigation should never fail or never stop, is employees need findability. It's the key step in that marketing and sales funnel. And I'm going to talk about it statistically in a little bit here. So awareness is one thing. You can drive awareness of all your benefits every week. Postcards, banners, videos, emails, Slack chat, anything, anywhere you're communicating with your employees. You can do it nonstop. But as I've said, employees are only going to think about it when it begins to resonate in their own needs, like findability. Oh, you have a pet. So I'm aware my employer has pet insurance. That's awareness. Now, findability, where's my phone number? Where's my login? How much does pet insurance cost? All of those things in findability. We need to make sure answers from phone numbers to deductibles to copays to download links for apps, those things are immediately findable. It's super critical that findability is something you all address. And this is that comedy thing, or that question I like to ask. Have you ever tested the findability of your benefits communications answers? Findability of phone numbers, findability of websites, or do your employees test it for you by asking you lots of questions? If you're inundated with questions, constantly repetitive questions, then your findability is terrible. Logins, passwords, things like that. This is what is a hindrance to findability of answers. Your Ben admin system, your HCM system, your ERP, everything is locked behind a firewall. This is somebody's livelihood behind these benefits. Instant answers and those types of things are people's livelihoods. So why are we locking them up behind walls? I get it. I know there's confidentiality. I know there's competitive reasons to lock certain information up, but websites and phone numbers and those types of things, codes, custom codes for group insurance plans. Those things just can't be locked behind firewalls. Additionally, if your information isn't findable or accessible quickly, you'll lose engagement. So I love this Google research that's on the left side of the screen here from 2017. Let me just drink some water here. In short, your website should load as quickly as possible. The ideal website time load for mobile sites is 1 to 2 seconds. So think about that. You're selling a product, your company is selling a product, and your website loads in more than 2 to 3 seconds. 53% of mobile sites visits are abandoned if the page load time takes longer than 3 seconds. A 2-second delay in load time resulted in abandonment rates of up to 87%, and Google aims for under a half a second load time. So think about this. If I'm an employee and I need an answer, if I can't find my answer quickly, you're dramatically increasing the likelihood that that person abandons their search and goes to the closest warm body, or goes to the tactic or the methodology they're used to going to, which is emailing HR or emailing the service center or calling people, which costs your teams money or you time. So it's super important that you're testing the findability and reinforcing this with your teams, the findability of answers. As you're asked questions, let's make sure we're updating our websites and landing pages and intranet sites and whatever else with answers for this. Moreover, you saw the Google statistics a second ago, is instant web and mobile access is key. The time from problem occurrence to research to an answer for most situations is under 3 minutes. That means if you can't give an answer to an employee in under 180 seconds, you're very likely going to lose them. That employee is going to go to the closest warm body who's going to give a wrong answer. So it's super important that your answers, your data, your websites, your portals, your phone numbers, everything is findable in under 180 seconds. Logins and things like that are exasperating this for families. And so again, strongly consider open sites. So just be aware of this statistic that's out there. This is our average site time. And so I know this from marketing days. Thinking about buying a toaster online, how long does it take you to buy a toaster online? I guarantee it's under 180 seconds. Same thing with many of your answers and benefits. It needs to be instantaneous. And we see our site path, our site data on Learn Your Benefits, the average duration of visitor to closing out is under 3 minutes. And so it's super important to make sure people are getting to their answers in under 3 minutes. The next thing is decision support tools. They're not a golden solution. They're incredibly expensive. They're rarely used. I mean, they may be used by 5 to 10% of your population in any given year. They're really only valuable in that awareness phase of the benefits journey here. In this consideration phase, you have awareness of your medical plans. You've delivered a decision support tool for findability here in the second level. Consideration, you're only going to get consideration with that decision support tool if people are good and ready. So if they've had a life event, if they've added to their family, if they're nearing retirement, those are relevant stages of a person's career or life. That's what's going to trigger consideration. You don't consider pet insurance until you have a pet or thinking about getting a pet. So decision support tools are just a stop on the journey. They don't do anything to drive awareness, findability, or conversion. They're just a tool in the piece. So it's really important to be thinking about this as a marketer would. These next couple of slides, just on the sensitivity of people's time, we talked about, just for the sensitivity of people's time, I'm going to go over these. I'm not actually going to go over these, but our previous 10 steps, or the 10 reasons communications and navigation should never stop, they're addressed here with these slides. And so what I'll certainly do is, again, give you an email address at the end of this. It's an info email address for Learn Your Benefits. All you have to do is just request these and you'll get them. We're not going to sell to you and mail you. We're just on our soapbox here to present the idea that communications and navigation must never stop for this changeover in generations that is happening, and so much more. Now, per the learning objectives here, let's talk about the earned and paid result of communications. I know I talked about that HR teams don't necessarily directly benefit from the power that their communications and work is doing. Other teams do. But let's talk about how you can firm up your business case for communications here. So we talked about the marketing and sales funnel, awareness, findability, consideration, nurturing. Let's talk about a 2-week campaign that we saw in one of our clients. And this was a ancillary supplemental benefit that's fairly expensive. And so I'll talk about medical insurance and dental and vision and those types of things in a second. But it's really critical to know that this is a voluntary benefit that people don't necessarily think about every single day. So they had 1,000 visitors during the initial campaign using Learn Your Benefits. So these people came to the site, they had an awareness of it, they were curious. Then we had 300 to 400 repeat visitors over the course of a day. 300 to 400 it's a range because in our system we're just tracking IP addresses. We don't know that it was, a specific employee coming because we don't collect that data for confidentiality reasons. We just know an IP address or a geolocation or a device ID tag. But again, we don't know Steve or Sally came. We just know it was a repeat visitor. Then 85 to 150 gave detailed consideration to that benefit. A video, a comparison chart, a calculator was created in order to help people understand and compare those. And then 15 to 53 converted. The actual number in this scenario was 34. So 3.4% of visitors that came to the site bought this new benefit, and then leads to nurturing. So that's really important for you to just put a pin in that and remember 34. And we're going to talk about some data now. And so 34, imagine if you promoted a benefit and your 300 to 400 people could not find what you were promoting. Your web page had a login. They didn't share the login with their spouses. The documents you wanted them to see were not findable. They were in your Ben admin system in some ridiculous page that's a link farm. It's Fortune 500 companies, as you know, are doing landing pages that are shuffled over time to promote key benefits, and promote employee nurturing. They do that because then it makes answers findable. So if you didn't have findability, your number of repeat visitors is going to drop dramatically. Therefore, then your conversion is going to drop dramatically. So remember 34 here. That's what this second posted note is doing here. And then obviously core benefits have a much higher adoption. You get 1,000 people coming to your site, you're going to get 600 of them ultimately making a benefit selection for core benefits. This is again, a fairly expensive secondary benefit. Now let's talk about the dollars and cents behind helping people communicate, or helping you communicate your benefits in your overall organization. It's $500 to $2,100 per year is the cost if an employer if an employee chooses an incorrect benefit plan. Let me come at that again. If an employee chooses an incorrect benefit plan, it could cost your company $500 to $2,100 per year, or about $750 for themselves. Incorrect medical plans, incorrect choices of short-term disability, and incorrect so much. And this is per benefits from Benefits Pro. So again, it's super important we help employees make correct decisions by providing them information along their benefits journey, from awareness to findability to consideration to conversion, so they make the correct call. 71% of employees have admitted they rarely or never understand benefits. So again, all the more reason to continuously educate. And employees are 2 times more likely to leave their job, as you just saw. And what's the average cost to replace an employee? $4,300. I know it'd be a lot more to replace myself. It'd be a lot more to replace you and everyone else. So all the more reason to be really, really careful about communication. So what's the bottom line impact? So in this more expensive benefit option we talked about earlier, so remember 34. Social Security and Medicare savings, about $100 per month per premium, 34 users, and it was a Medicare deductible tax or Medicare deductible premium, so 7.65%, let alone employee taxes. That's a $3,100 savings per year. The cost to promote this benefit of Learn Your Benefits was less than this. So there was actually a 200% ROI with Learn Your Benefits from this particular employees. Employee search costs. If it's $4,300 to replace an employee and you boosted 25% retention on those 34 employees, you just saved yourself $3,600 or 9 employees in replacement costs. Now, again, that doesn't go to HR's bottom line, that's the organization's bottom line, but there's ROI there. Now, imagine this was a high deductible health plan and you moved 34 employees to your high deductible health plan. That's $81,000 before HSA contributions. Now, let's just say you contribute $1,000 to HSAs. That's bottom line savings of $47,000 to the company if you moved 34 people to an HSA plan. Now, that's significant ROI behind the value of communication, not just the questions, but the bottom line reason to market and sell high deductible health plans now makes sense. And your earned results is a positive culture, fewer questions, more positive sentiment about your benefits, and so much more. So as we get into the last 5 minutes of my presentation here, let's just talk about benchmarking. We understand many organizations don't have the budget to do all the tactics that are out there. So when we survey, we survey every potential client and every actual client of Learn Your Benefits, and we ask, well, what are you doing for your communications? Benefits guides, all the way down to multi-channel promotions. And you can see a distinct shift in the use of videos and Ben systems and decision support tools and multi-channel promotions when you get to that 3 to, maybe about 600 on up in employees. So we understand that's not there. But what's really cool is that we need to be thinking about these tools and techniques if we have the time and the budget for them. And so many organizations don't, but then again, that pivots to Learn Your Benefits and what we're trying to do here. And this is where I'm going to fly super quickly and not spend more than 30 seconds on Learn Your Benefits, is we're trying to bring every single one of these capabilities to every size organization other than necessarily print. Trying to bring Fortune 500 level communications to every size organization. Every employee and every employer access their Learn Your Benefits site through web and mobile sites that are all mobile enabled as well. But what our core capabilities are is it's a plug and play educational platform for you, and it's videos and findability and answers for your employees kind of combined. So we're YouTube, Wikipedia, and Google for your employees, which is really what they're used to using. But for you, we're that plug and play technology. So we're going to work with all your existing teams, all your existing processes, all your existing resources. We do all the setup. We have concierge services. So basically, you're going to turn us on, and we're going to be your virtual communications team at Learn Your Benefits. We're going to help you build it all out. And so now you've just offloaded a significant portion of your communications, even your benefits guide if you want. And if your brokers are doing your benefits guide, let's have your brokers work through Learn Your Benefits, because we have some significantly affordable programs for them. Benefits to you is way less communications time, 66% on up, included open enrollment campaigns, included open enrollment sites, many fewer questions, higher employee engagement, all that statistical data we talked about a second ago, and not to mention really cool tools for onboarding and recruiting purposes. So you make this available. We talked about the benefits journey then too, from awareness to findability, and we have tools that fit into every single one of those steps, all the way from campaigns and push notifications down to some awesome videos and videos that not just educate, but navigate. You learn about your HSA, and then the video will direct you to the actual website to enroll in the HSA. It's really, really cool stuff. We see 400 to 500% utilization in Learn Your Benefits over other platforms, twice what competitors get. We'll have employers that have 1,000 employees that'll get 4,000 sessions in Learn Your Benefits because answers are so easy to get at. We work with organizations from super small, 18 employees, all the way up to national banks and national accounts. Lots of MIWAs, lots of brokers, things like that. So if you want to see the slides, I appreciate you hanging out until now. go ahead and email info@learnyourbenefits.com. We monitor that every single day. We literally have 2 people at Learn Your Benefits that focus on content and the community and education. That's a pretty big chunk of time and energy we put into the importance of communication. So email us at this. You'll get somebody from our marketing team who will immediately get back to you with these slides. And then we have more thought leadership. These 2 people, not to mention myself and others, we're constantly adding to our blog. So please visit blog.learnyourbenefits.com to follow us. We have a pretty cool ebook that gets into a lot of this sphere. So learnyourbenefits.com/ebook. LinkedIn, all of our content is posted there. Subscribe to learnyourbenefits.com for emails, and then stay on Hey Summit for future webinars as well. And then if you're interested in learning more, here's the easiest, no hassle way to check out Learn Your Benefits, where you won't get a phone call, tomorrow by someone. It's virtual demo, learnyourbenefits.com/virtual demo, or just go to learnyourbenefits.com if you want to see what we do, how we approach helping you efficiently do benefits communications online. So if you have any questions, go ahead and email me, Brian.Gazella, Gezella @learnyourbenefits.com, or info. We're all certainly here. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this webinar. Again, 10 reasons benefits communications and navigation should never stop. I thank you very much for your time. Check us out at learnyourbenefits.com, and you see the other email addresses there. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time in another Learn Your Benefits webinar. So thank you very much. Take care now. Bye-bye.